listening to the Cambridge Insider podcast. In this episode, hosts Mariah and Stephen continue the conversation of our exciting market update with a part 2 on how schools can add value in their student recruitment strategy to work off this market momentum. Today's podcast is proudly sponsored by Cambridge Enhanced Marketing Partner Community Christian School. Founded in 1997, Community Christian School is a Christian college preparatory K-3-12 school program located in Stockbridge, just 18 miles south of the Atlanta airport. Reach out to us for more information about this wonderful program. Thanks for listening.
Cambridge Insider podcast time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cambridge Insider podcast. A beautiful summer's afternoon in the Northeast. My good friend, colleague, and co-host, Mariah Thompson. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that it's nice a summer day for you because it is so gloomy here in upstate New York today. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for coffee today because the gloominess always just makes you feel like you're under the mud. So happy for coffee. Still plugging away today. Excited to be here as always.
That's it. Awesome. Yeah. Get those cups in and make sure you stay hydrated and also focused.
Yes.
So we started off sort of a little mini series, I suppose. Last week we spoke a little bit about, where the market is at, with the promise of speaking about what that means for international, programs and for schools coming into this recruitment season. Mariah, if you don't mind, do you mind just sort of giving us a synopsis of what we spoke about last week, just to catch everybody up again?
Yeah, of course. So we provided an update on our F1 and J1 visa reports. We are CSET members, so we get great reports from them. And we saw that there's a 79% increase from last year. And this report was given out in May. And after we recorded it, we were discussing something else that came out that was also exciting and good news for all of us too, as well as that the Gaokao test that students take to figure out if they will be doing an international education program has been delayed and pushed back due to COVID. So we are anticipating an increase of those numbers that we had stated previously due to it being pushed back. So the students will make their decisions a little later than we normally see. So we're already anticipating another increase on that. So it's even more exciting news to see that those numbers are continually increasing. And we have another anticipation on that as well, which kind of ties into where we are taking this next part of the podcast, which is it creates value for our schools, and it starts to make some momentum of what they should do. And Stephen is going to tell you on how we should utilize that momentum and what to look forward to, and how to use that and run with it.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that the test was pushed back and that we're sort of a little bit behind the data is awesome news, because as Mariah mentioned, we're probably expecting a little bit more of an increase in the number of F1 students, that are coming into the country, which again, for schools, that's the bread and butter. That's what we're hoping. We want more and more students to be coming to this country to be looking at your programs. So we did make the promise of, we're going to talk a little bit about what this means for schools. And I think it's very, very important for schools to understand that the playing field of the international recruitment, market has changed. Not only in terms of the market, but in terms of what schools offer. So for many, many years, there were a couple of things which schools needed to offer in order to attract international students. Those remain in place. And those are very much, a lot of our schools will know these things. You need to have a great academic program, or at least a solid academic offering. Mm-hmm. You need to have an extracurricular program, both clubs and societies, as well as sports, that meets the needs of your students. If you think about international students, what are the clubs and societies that they often like to take part in? Are we able to offer those? If we're not able to offer those, what other solution can we give them? College counseling, such an important part of how we sell our program is college counseling. Again, schools know this, but having a very well-defined, sort of timeline of what college counseling looks like at your school, being able to explain and advertise and market to an international family that when you come to our school, this is what will happen in the 9th grade. This is what will happen in the 10th grade. This is who you will talk to. Here are some of the successes we've seen when it comes to college matriculation. So another very, very important part of that. Your homestay solution, whether you be a dorm school or a school-run homestay, or you use a homestay service provider like Cambridge Network, having a homestay solution for students that is trusted, that is well maintained, and that runs very smoothly is an incredibly important part of what you need to offer to these students. Student support. Do you have an international student coordinator? If you don't, and you partner with somebody like Cambridge, talk a little bit about the support that the Cambridge, staff on the ground and the staff, online will be able to provide for that student. Special programs, right? So are there special programs that your school can offer, be that a dual enrollment program, be that a pathway to play varsity ice hockey, whatever these special programs are, what is it that you can offer as a school that will maybe make you unique? So all of those things that I've mentioned are things that in the past have been a must for you to have in order for you to attract international students. That remains very much so today. We are seeing, I would say, more and more schools, upwards of 95, 96, 97% of all of our school partners offer those things that I've just listed to you. They are value programs, essentially. They offer great value, and they offer those things that attract international students. The reality is, though, in the past, that would be enough to attract an international student. However, as the market has changed, as it's become more saturated, meaning there are less or the same amount of students, but there are an increased number of schools and international programs, students have had the choice to go wherever they want. As the economy has started to tighten up in the past couple of years as well, students are looking at price fairness. So if you are priced excessively high, why are you priced excessively high? What is it that makes you stand out, that makes it possible for you to charge this price? So there's been, across the board, I would say, a leveling of the playing fields. More and more students are looking at schools across the entire country, no longer just situated in California and in New York, or on the East Coast and on the West Coast, which traditionally would happen because often those schools would have great value programs that they could offer. We're seeing schools in the middle of America, in the Midwest, in the South, offering incredible value programs. So we've had this level of the playing field. Is that good for the market? I would say absolutely it's good for the market, because competition, in my mind at least, and something that we look at very strongly and believe in at Cambridge, that competition will give rise to schools who, number one, really care about their students, who care about their programs, and who are forced to offer a quality value product year in, year out. So where does that leave schools? We offer this value program, but Stephen's basically telling us everybody across the country offers this value program. That is true. The biggest differentiator in today's market has become access to the market. So you have this wonderful program. You have all these great stories, all these testimonials, all these student successes, all these special programs, this wonderful homestay, and you want to tell people about it. But how do you get access to a targeted audience that you can tell about your great program? And that's become the differentiator. We've seen that more and more, specifically as COVID and online and the digital world has had more of an impact in how we market our programs. Having access to a student who's ready to come to the United States is worth more than anything else. It's the one thing that'll allow you to differentiate yourself from your competition, not just your competition across the road, but your competition across this beautiful country of ours. So Mariah, I've spoken a lot there. I don't want to get too carried away. I'll pause there for a while. I've got a couple other things I want to touch on, but does that make sense? Am I portraying that correctly? Do you have any questions, any thoughts, any ideas on that?
Yeah, no, I think it totally makes sense. I mean, I think every school is out here trying to be the best of what they want to be the best of. They have so much value added. So that doesn't really set you apart anymore. What you do individually sets you apart, but other schools are also driving that. So the thing that you really need to do is now create a way for you to get in front of those students to show them what you have. Before I was a marketing director for Cambridge, I was on student services, and one of our schools that is partnered with us, They have a program that is exceptional. They really value international education, but they also value providing opportunities for students to reach out and dive deeper into a career that they want to do next, specifically in the medical field. And I had a student that really wanted to be involved. She wanted to have a lot on her resume, and they offered an EMS program that not only was a class course, so she had to learn a lot and be tested and studied, but they also were partnered with their local fire station, which does a lot of EMS courses and hands-on experience. And for them to see that the school offered that, it was like a no-brainer. But they needed a way, the school needed a way to show these parents that they were offering this. So through the Cambridge connection, we were able to share and state that this is something that they offer. Fortunately, these parents as well spoke English, so I was able to directly speak with them throughout the year. And they were ecstatic. Every time their daughter would talk about what they were doing, it was like a no-brainer, like no sign of like regret of sending their student there. They were happy with the program. It was worthwhile. It was worth the money. So that's just like one of the testimonials of how your exceptional program gets in front of people and they're going to choose it. So
absolutely. I love that story. It's such a practical example, right? So if we think about the digital space and being able to tell your story on a platform using social media, using live events, cross-streaming live events to, different potential applicants. If you were to have a school like that has this incredible program, and you would not be on some kind of digital space or part of some kind of digital marketing, digital recruitment initiative, the chances are that, 5, maybe 10 people hear about this wonderful program, right? Out of those 10 people, are one of them going to be interested in that special program? Who knows? You might get lucky and you might have one that's super interested in that special program. We put you on a live event, we cross-stream it, we get 500, 600, 700. I just saw our latest data come out on a social media video post with 1,000 different unique views on that social media post, specifically about a school special program. Out of those 1,000 families or 1,000 applicants, chances are way higher that you're going to have one or two of them going, wow, that stands out. I want to be part of that medical or EMS special program. I want to play ice hockey. I want to do A, B, C, D. So, you increase the chances. So again, I don't want to get too carried away. I think our message and part of the podcast is always to provide education, information as much as we can, but also be able to strategize and provide solutions, right? So
yeah,
I think our biggest takeaway from all of this is, number one, you have to have value in your program. Those things that we mentioned, you've got to be priced fairly and you've got to at least tick 9 out of those 10 boxes of value things, right? Great academic programs, college counseling, and the majority of our schools offer that already. Almost more important than that, you have to have a platform to tell your story. Have these conversations. It's the beginning of the new recruitment season, essentially a new school year. You're sitting with boards of directors, you're sitting with your admissions team, you're speaking to your head of school. Have conversations about the digital world, about digital marketing, however you do that. Yes, Cambridge offer a wonderful digital marketing solution to our partners, and we're open to have that discussion with absolutely anybody. But more importantly than that, just have the conversation, because that is how you exist in this market today. It's being able to have a platform to tell your great stories. The last thing that I will say is I have, 10 schools a week that I speak to, all of them great partners that will say to me, Stephen, you can't believe we've just done this with a school building. I'll say to them, that's great. We need to get that message out there. We need to proclaim it. We need to shout it from the rooftops. And the way in which we do that when we market to Southeast Asia is digital marketing. Get on the right social media. Make sure you host live events. You do walkthroughs of your campus. You speak to different department heads, and we put that on a platform where you can get upwards of 500, 600, 700 views. So we hope this has been educational. I hope that this at least will spur some of the partners that are seriously considering an international program for this coming year, but also for the years ahead, to at least have the conversation about the digital world. How are you approaching it? What are you investing in? What are you investing not just financially in, but your time, your resources, your people? Where are they putting in their efforts? Are they creating, pamphlets, or are we hosting live open houses? These are important questions for us to ask. Mariah, I appreciate your your ability to listen to me, because I did ramble on just a little bit. Any final thoughts from your side?
It's always it's always an honor to listen when you get on that, because it's so good. I'm like, yes, he's nailing it. He's explaining it so well. I guess my final thoughts are just to echo what you were saying. Just it's not about selling what we're doing. It's just about to get you to talk about what you need to do for your next step. So just to begin having those conversations.
Absolutely. I was on a call yesterday, and I'll close off with this, but I was on a call yesterday with a school that, it was simply an hour-long conversation. They just wanted to sort of pick my brain and hear a little bit about Cambridge Enhanced Marketing, but more just sort of get my thoughts on where the market is, what type of digital stuff should they be doing, what should they not be doing. And I was happy to have that conversation. At the end of the day, they're a school partner or they're a prospective school partner. We want a strong industry. I want a strong industry where great schools are looking after students and they're able to get their product and their message across to those kids. So that's what we're all about. We appreciate you listening. We're going to put some stuff in the show notes for you to have a look at. But most importantly, we'll have our contact details in there as well. Drop us a question, a thought. If you thought Mariah's contribution was spectacular, let her know. It's important. We also, thrive off that positive reinforcement. So we'll catch you around the next episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. For more Cambridge updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Have a great week and stay connected.